Let's talk about reactive abuse. And welcome to What Was That? Survivor Edition, where I talk about the behaviors that survivors may have in order to cope with or process the abuse that they have received. So this is a term that I actually really hate, even though it is technically accurate, because it does put a label on the victim of abuse or abuser. But I want to put it in this kind of analogy, and I'm not entirely sure if I like this analogy, but just sit with me for a second. If you imagine like a circus animal that has been abused for years and years in order to get it to perform for the circus. So for years it's been poked and prodded and mistreated, and then eventually it snaps and attacks a handler. The headlines that you'll usually read are things like circus elephant goes crazy. But I think that we all know that elephant didn't go crazy. It finally just fought back. And this is kind of what happens within reactive abuse. If you have dealt with especially emotional or verbal or mental abuse for months or even years, you can have this point of reactivity. So in a human, this might look like, let's say you go out and finally treat yourself to a coffee alone. And when you come back, your partner immediately sets in on a guilt trip about why you didn't bring them something back. You might have a response to that looks like yelling, screaming, crying, slamming cupboards, essentially like having a breakdown. Now, if this was an isolated incident, obviously that response would be disproportionate and abusive. But because this response is not just about the bagel or coffee, it's about the months and months of emotional manipulation that your partner has used on you, probably through the form of guilt trips that you're actually responding to. But the worst part is your abuser can and will use this against you. If people happen to be around when you're having this reaction, they will just point to it and be like, look, see what I have to deal with. If people are not around, they can still use it against you and or tell other people about what happened and make it seem like the response that you had is on the same level of the consistent mistreatment that they give you. So anytime you try to call them out for the way that they treat you, they will throw back this incident of reactive abuse that you had. But reactive abuse is really an act of desperation. Truly abusive people are such on a consistent basis, and it is part of their personality. They will abuse you over and over and over again because they feel entitled to do so. And that distinction is really important.